Today I'd like to talk about my latest MPC expansion, Nyabinghi drums for the MPC, about the concept and about the sounds. Let's check it out.
Mr. DeeKay.
This video is brought to you by my sound company,
Sounds Premium.
Welcome to Mr. DeeKay TV. My latest MPC expansion called Nyabinghi Drums is out now. You can find the link down below in the video description to download the expansion. And now I want to showcase some sounds which are included, and I want to explain the concept which is behind my Nyabinghi Drums MPC expansion. The most important thing about this MPC expansion is that I have put 8 layers on each pad, so that you have a real authentic playing feel as if you would play the real drum, the real Nyabinghi drums. So that's why I have also taken care about that and included different velocity layers. So hitting this drum from a very low velocity to a much higher velocity to get different sounds out of it. And you can recreate these sounds on your MPC because of these different velocity layers. I got 3 drum kits included in my MPC expansion with 8 layers per pad, and the shakers have even 16 layers. This is the so-called thunder drum, a very big drum responsible for the bass, and you have a long sustain like this and a shorter sustain like this. So in Nyabinghi drumming there are different rhythms. One example is this one, or like this. And this we can reproduce on our MPC like this. This drum, it's a Funde, and with this you are doing the heartbeat. And this is a repeater. It looks like this. This drum is very important because of all the top lines you play in Nyabinghi, and it sounds like this. And you got different techniques also, a roll, a flam, like this. In different velocities, of course. You play freestyle fills like this. If you take a look at the layout of these pads, there's a color code. So the Nyabinghi drums are separated so that you can identify them immediately. The red one is the thunder drum, and the yellow one is the Funde, the heartbeat. And the pads in green are representing the repeater drum. The low tones, the high tones, then the special things like the flam, the roll, and the dampened sound. And we have the shaker. You see it, I have to press this pad, hold it for a longer time, then release it because it's a shaker. You see, I push down, release it, like that. That's it. And all the pads are velocity sensitive. This is the first drum kit, the Nyabinghi 01, and all the pads are velocity sensitive. Check out that shaker. I go to full level, now I go to half level. Every time the sounds are different, so 8 layers per pad, like I've said before. Turning off the full and the half level will go back to velocity mode, so that you can hit the pads in different velocities. Without full level and half level, you can play velocity sensitive. This is what I recommend to you, because this way you can play the drums very authentically. So have a look. And I got 3 kits included. This is Nyabinghi 01. Let's listen to the previews. I go to Shift Browse, then I'm into my expansion Nyabinghi drums. And I got 3 clip programs, so there are some loops included. For each clip program you got 16 loops, so there are 48 loops together, and let's check them out. So what I can do here is to combine them in a different way. The color code is the same like in the drum kits. The red ones are standing for the Thunder drum. The yellow ones are standing for the Funde, green is for the repeater, and blue is for the shakers. So I can play them in a random order, and I have to make sure that I'm on 80 beats per minute, so on 80 BPM, because I have recorded them in 80 BPM, and the length of the loops is 4 bars, so I have to dial that in first to make sure that all the loops are working fine and I have no big difference in BPM. So 80 BPM is a quite regular BPM for Nyabinghi rhythms. So 80 BPM, 8000, do it. Now I'm on 80 BPM and I change it from 2 to 4 bars to have the correct loop length. I'm starting quite simple, like that. There's the full thing. And now I'm changing the pattern, maybe like that. And so on and so on. And I got plenty loops included. 16 are in the first clip program called Nyabinghi Clips Loops 01. I got 02 with further 16 loops. And last but not least, Nyabinghi Clips Loops 03. We can check them in a preview. Now the second one. And the Nyabinghi Clips Loops 03. And one important thing with these Nyabinghi drums is that you can tune them, that you get different tones out of it in dependency of the tension, and this tension you can influence by screws. And if you make them tighter, then the tension of the playing field is getting more tension, and then it's producing higher sounds. And if the tension is not so high, it produces lower tones. And this I have captured in my MPC expansion Nyabinghi drums as well, because I have 3 different kits included. And every sound designer and pack maker knows how much work goes into these kind of sound packs, sample packs, because you have to record them, you have to cut the recordings, the samples, and there are so many samples included, hundreds of samples, of course, to make this sound being authentic. So just having 1 layer is one thing, but having 8 layers is a completely different level. It's a different level of playing. It feels like playing the real drum. So this is something I have taken care of, and I have created these packs especially for an authentic playing feel. I'm a drummer, percussionist, and I know how to play these drums, and I know how the playing feel is, and I can tell you, playing this in real time on the real drum and playing the thing on my MPC is not a huge difference. So you have them on the go on your MPC. Imagine taking all these drums, recording them on your own. It's very time consuming. To record these drums is one thing. The other thing is to program the sounds into the MPC so that you have a good translation of the real drum to the sampled drum on your MPC. So you can imagine that a lot of time goes into it. You have to test it, you have to do a concept, how to organize your pads. How can you realize that so that you have a real good playing field? So what I have done for this expansion is, it's a different thing if you hit this drum with your left or with your right hand. And the important tones of these Nyabinghi drums I have captured for the left hand and for the right hand, just to make them sound very natural.
SoundsPremium.com. Sounds Premium.